Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today it's an unusual video. It's a subscriber's request and it's not something I was planning to do, but you've asked and I thought, okay, well actually somebody's have asked. I thought, well, let's do this if this is what you'd like to see. I was asked whether I would do a flip through of my stencils and my masks, not necessarily the ones I've designed, but the ones that I've collected over the years. Now, besides these two folders, there's a drawer with some larger stencils in, and there's a drawer with some older stencils. Let's see if I can find them. This is a drawer full of old metal stencils, which I've used a few of them over the time, but I don't use them that often, but they are there. However, I keep my stencils in folders. Now, in previous videos, you may have seen I had a black folder with all of the plastic pockets already sewn into it. I discovered that the more I added, the harder it became to use it because it used to bulk up the spine. So I've gone to a ring binder now with individual, I call them poly pockets. I think you might call them presentation pockets. You'll know them when you see them. However, this little baby here is the top secret folder. This is the one where all of my brand new designs are that I've actually created for PM Artist Studio. So in future videos, can't remember when I'm filming the first one, every time I do a new launch, I will make a video and you will see what's in here. I'm excited about that. Sorry, bit of a tease there. So for me, this folder is the one that I use for all of my design, all of my stencils. Now, a lot of them are PM Artist Studio. Beyond that, there are more in here. Some of them are dark and painty, and I may have to take them out to show you, but we'll work our way through, and I'll tell you what I like, what I don't like, all the different things. The reason I like using this is what page protectors, poly pockets is, I can take them out if I'm working and I don't have to have the whole folio near me, which means that when the stencils are completely cleaned or dry, they can go back in and I can slot them back in where they need to be. So without further ado, let's get on and have a little chat. So I do have quite a few PM Artist Studio stencils and masks in here. That's because I like the company and I like what they're doing, and that's why I ended up working with them. So the Fleur de Lis mandala, I always say that wrong. Is that in there? It is supposed to be. That's a little snippet from there. There's several of them in the bunch. How many? 1, 2, 3. I must have 2 sets here. That'll tell you how much I like them. I've got 2 sets of them, and then there's this little snippet must have come in a thank you note or something. But I love using mandalas. I must admit, I really do. Hence, and there's another one. So we've got the Celtic knot mandala here. Comes in 3 different sizes. There you go, 3 different sizes. And there's also a little strip which you'll find. I'll show you later on. I don't know how much you're actually going to see of all this. Let's move this a little more centrally, I think. All right, I know that when we get to some pages, some on either page, so we'll have to flip out again. So just in case it was slightly out of shot, which I don't think it is because I marked my board. This was the Fleur de Lis. This was the Celtic knot. Asemic writing, I love this one. This is the A7 size. There's probably more paint on there than some of my art pieces. This thing is beginning to weigh at the moment. That's what it looks like if I was to lay it down. Love this one. It's great for detailing on postcards, larger prints. I've even used it on canvases before now, as you've probably seen in a previous video. Tangle Trudy, another fun way of adding just a little bit of interest. I use this one quite a lot. I like this because it's very much postcard size for me. I can put some postcards. I can even do little ATCs or artist trading cards with this one. Really handy one to do. It's a great one too because if you print, you can then go in and colour in the gaps. There's lots of things I can do with Tangle Trudy. One of my favourites. Okay, this is Waves. Now this comes as a set of 2. You can see the designs there. You can see I have used these severely. Again, I like them. I don't tend to use them as the whole design. Let's see if I can put it on, push this over a bit. I don't use it as the whole design. I tend to lay this on a gel plate or on a card or a 12 by 12, and I tend to sponge paint, as you've seen me do, and I sponge paint through patches of it. It's very rare that I use the whole thing unless I'm doing a postcard, and of course this completely covers a postcard in one go, and there are two versions of it. That's waves 1 and 2. I sound like an infomercial, don't I? Wonky net. Anyone who knows me, wonky net is a very heavy wonky net at the moment. I've used this so many times. I think they do it in a bigger size too. And if they do, I think I need to order the bigger size because I use this one so many times for adding visual texture. Let's stick that back in there. In you go. Okay, there are a few obviously that I've not used as yet. Wavy Windows is one of them. It's a new stencil I picked up on my last order, I believe. Hopefully by tipping it, you'll see the light shining on it. Interesting, again, I like, anyone who knows me knows I like to line things up, and anything with blocks in it is a winner in my eyes. So that's Wavy Windows Style 2, because this is Wavy Windows Style 1. So it just has the lines in it. It doesn't have like the leaf design in it as well. So again, not been used yet, but that's because I haven't filmed all the videos on my to-do list. And believe me, that to-do list is incredibly long. Right, where are we up to? Is this the tracery one? It is. This is tracery mandala. This to me just reminds me of church windows. It's just absolutely stunning. I do tend to use this for things like Christmas, anything with a religious theme. Actually, I use this as well if I'm doing anything with a Gothic theme, because for some reason this in black really works well on a nice Gothic theme. So there you go. Again, I sponge bits of it or use all of it. Lattice, the big one. I like this. This always reminds me, let's put it on that side so you can see it. So I'm struggling a bit because I can't see my camera, guys. This one reminds me a bit of that arcade game, Space Invaders, and I do like it. I use it. Again, I don't always use the whole thing. I'll come in and I'll maybe sponge patches of it. So I've got like faded, so I'll do dark colour then, sponge it out to almost nothing. So I have one of those layers through painting. And also I use them on my gel plate, obviously. Let's move you back again. Hopefully this moving isn't annoying for you. It's not meant to be. Lattice comes in a special edition too. I'm not sure whether it's on a request only. And the difference is this section here is where it's breaking down. And this bit here is smaller. So again, a really nice one, especially for the smaller things. Because if you reckon, let's see if I can reach one. If I'm working on an ATC, which is a 2.5 by 3.5, some of the larger designs are lost, whereas that design looks perfect on that size. Loving that. Right. Twirly Teardrop or Celestial Snowshoes. I think Mariah must have been having a moment when she named these. I've been very tempted actually to cut down there and have them as two separate pieces. But I don't know. I mean, when I look at this, I see fish and whales. So I've used them as stylized things before now, because if I look at that, can you see that? You see that? You might be able to see it. To me, if I look at this, that's a whale. That's his eye. It's amazing when you look at stuff and you really look at stuff. It's amazing what you see within stuff. Okay, this one. This is the Whirlies, I believe. Right, the Whirlies has been attacked by me. The Whirlies comes in one piece. And I was finding, as I was using Whirlies more and more, I wanted it to be corner pieces. So you can see, I'm just going to switch around. Can't remember how it was cut off. Now, if I move this back over, you should be able to see it. So it was slightly like that. I've obviously taken pieces out of it to cut it into corners, but I cut mine down. And Mariah and Patricia at PM Artist Studio are more than happy for you to do that. They like to see how their stencils and masks are modified and used in unique ways. It's great because it may spark new ideas. Okay, Sea of Crescents. This is the panels. I do have the round ones as well, which is the same design concept, although they're done in a circle. and a half crescent. They're quite large. They're in a completely different box. And the request was to flip through my folders, not go through all the drawers and boxes. So there you go. I use that a lot. This worked really well when it came to Halloween, because obviously crescent moon. So anything that's witchy, spooky, anything along those lines, or even anything that's like celestial or in space, that works really well as well. Okay, these two are new to me. I haven't used these yet. Cups, caps and bowls. Just a little detail, because again, let's pull in another one of those artist trading cards. They're made for ATC size. So see, I can just come in here and add little bits of detail onto these, and that's perfect for me. I love the small detail. I love ATCs, or artist trading cards. They're just miniature pieces of art that don't have to take days and days to create, although to be honest with you, mine do take days and days to create. Okay, monarch butterflies, or butterflies monarch. Love this. As you can see, that's what the set looks like. I love these things. I mean, I haven't used them half as much as I wanted to, because I'm always being distracted by the very next thing. Oh, stuck together. Now, all of their, I haven't used the big one yet, obviously. All of their stencils and masks are actually made out of 74-pound Yupo, which is durable. It's not see-through or plastic, obviously. It's not see-through and clear, but as you can see, it's sort of a white plastic. It's wipeable, it's washable. I mean, obviously you've got delicate bits on it. You do need to take some care with it. But then if you were using a mylar or a plastic-based piece for a stencil or mask, you'd also have to take care with it. So I have no problem with that. Lunar moths, or moths lunar, is another one. I ordered it with all intentions of doing like a vampire theme and having moths in the night, and I never got around to doing it. So that's another one that's going to be happening at some point. As you can see, my list of videos just keeps growing and growing, and there's only one of me and so many hours in the day. Another one of the butterfly ones. As you can see, I love the butterfly ones. This was swallowtails. Not yet used this, but how much detail is in that? Can you see that on my hand? Absolutely stunning. Love them, love them. Different sizes, all the way up to a really big one. Oh, I've got two stuck together there. Bear with me. There you go. Up to a really big one. Now, sometimes I have been known to colour these up and actually just stick these directly onto my piece of art and not use it as a stencil or mask, just to use it as a top focal point or an element. I love it. I stick them on with matte medium if I'm doing that. I'm just not a regular glue. Geometric Polynesian. Love this. This again, if you look at, it's probably that better that way. Let's see, do it over here. If you look at these, guess what? Does that look familiar? So it means that I can do different ATCs with this, although 99% of the time I use this on my gel plate just to add little bits of background detail. Go with just a slightly paler version of colour that you're using, and it just gives you a sort of a shadow in the background, something I really love to do. That's Geometric Polynesian. Dragonflies, there's a set of 7. I'm only going to pull one out, because if I pull all of them out, or pull 2 out as it is, they stick together. So as you can see now, anyone who knows me knows I'm a dragonfly person. Dragonflies are incredibly significant to me in my life, and they're very significant in other cultures as well. So it's a set of 7, which means you get some that are actually just solid, but lots of them are actually just that lacy finish. And I've already done art pieces with some of these. I get them in without damaging them. There's another version. This is Dragonflies masks. This is the set of 8. This one's stuck. As you can see, I have already been using this one. I've used more than one, as you can see. But yes, I love this. I like this one because it's got more open wings, whereas this one's got finer wings. And I think there's a place for both. It depends on, when I did these, I used texture paste through them because I was creating a false or a fake fossil. Oh, it's on the outside, is it? However, if I'm using them on a gel plate or I'm using with sprays, then I don't need the wings to be that open. Is that the same one? Is that mask 2? Have I got the same one twice? Have I been shopping twice? Set of 2. I bought the same one twice. Oh no, this was sent to me as a gift. Sometimes when you order from PM Artist Studios, if there's been a glitch somewhere in the cutting of stuff, they create what's called perfectly imperfects. So some of them may, oh, actually, this is a good example. Okay, so I'll pull this out without dropping everything. Okay, so for an example, this one didn't cut correctly. That bit's all right. So this bit didn't cut off. And some of the little bits, that did come out. But this didn't cut properly. But you know what? I'm okay with that, because instead of throwing them away, what they do is they pass them on to their customers. I could make things out of this. I mean, I could easily snip around that with the scissors. I might just want to use the wings in future. I may just take the wings off and use it. So it's very generous of them sometimes just to be sending out imperfect ones with your order. You never quite know what you're going to get when you get a delivery from PM Artist Studio. Okay, this one was the Dragonfly stained glass window. As you can see, I like this. This gives a wonderful crazy paving. So let's move this back. So if you're doing a scene that's based in a garden, or you're trying to create a background, that just looks like crazy paving. This not so much, but this bit does. As you can see, I've used that section a lot. I like this as well if I'm doing something like an image that's got caves or mountains. This looks great for the edges of caves. This looks great for a really abstract landscape. So loving this one, absolutely adore this. So that was Dragonfly stained glass. And I think we should be coming close to the end of the PM ones now. As you can see, I've categorized them into groups of manufacturers. However, that didn't go through the whole book, because many years ago I started just getting rid of the packaging, so I don't know where half of these come from. Okay, a lot of these are actually going to be hard to see in this pocket, because they're covered in black paint already. Okay, I think this is the waffle strip from the breakfast strips from PM Artist Studio. I use it all of the time, as you can see. This is the one that went with the Celtic mandalas. This has got so much paint on it, I'm surprised it works again. This was a special they produced for Halloween, which is the phases of the moon. I think if you requested it, they still do it for you. Not sure it's on their website. And then these, I can't name them because I can't remember. Let's start with that one, because I've got a white page. Another bits of detail. If I was you, when you go onto their website, if you choose to go onto their website, have a scroll through all of it. I don't even know what that one's called. A couple of, I like this, and they said they did a bigger version, so I used that. Sometimes you get a freebie, like if they have a spare bit of UPO being cut, they'll do this. I use this all the time, and not just for using with paint. I will sometimes put this down and draw in my planner and put circles in to highlight stuff. And this is another piece as well, just little things. It's worth trawling through the website just to take a really good look. Okay, we're coming to the end of PM soon, I think. Okay, this was, I haven't used this yet, obviously. Let's get my hand in there. Now, I can't remember the exact names of them. I've tried using it occasionally. Sorry, not tried. I have used it occasionally, but not all of them. This was seaweed. I mean, how much detail is in that? Although I'd probably use that for bushes and trees, to be honest. And I think these are called sponges or tubers. I can't remember. Again, if you look at that, that's a really weird. Let's see if I can find another one. Okay, that's a pair of alien hands for me. So it depends. You see different things in them, and it's really good to just take a really good look, because sometimes you read the label as to what they are, and then you think that's the only thing that can be done with them. Now, have a look at them, guys. Flip this over. Oh, I see you. I use this. Where's this one gone? I got that in one of the ATCs. That was still on there. So an eye, complete eye with lashes, absolutely beautifully detailed. Love that. I think I did it on an ATC I sent to someone. Can't remember where that is, so I'd show you an example of that, but I love that one. That's the ATC size. It does, however, come as a 5x7, which I've obviously not used yet. Let's get that out of there. There you go. So that's the full size one. That's obviously going to be used on a bigger piece of art. And if you request, they will send you all the bits. So all of the cutout pieces were actually sent to me in that little envelope as well. So maybe I can be creative with that, and the eyelashes will become grass. Who knows? cellular membrane. I use this one so often. It's getting very thick. I think it's warming up for me to order a new one of these. I might just put this on a piece of art. It looks lovely. I again like this just to add little bits of texture visually into the background of things. It's great for lava, bubbling water. It's great for sea life. If you do it on the edge of a plate, you've got some fantastical like space landscape stuff. Lots of stuff for cellular membrane. This is a medium size. Okay, horizontal circles. I think this one was a gift, I think, because I'd ordered so much. Great thing to use, wonderful thing. This actually could probably go in my planner, because I would very definitely draw around the inside of these or just smudge over with ink or something just to transfer details. But however, I could use this instead of using bubble wrap, which mine shot. Bubble wrap, which you all know I use all of the time. If I just got some paint on a sponge and went through really lightly, it would give me the illusion of almost bubble wrap. So loving that. Okay. Daisies. Okay, let's see if I can get these out without them all sticking or pulling all over the place. Come at you. This is some anyway. Daisies. Lovely collection of various size daisies. How many's in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 daisies. So great using on a background as a mask, stuck together. This is what happens when you don't clean your masks and stencils, which I don't, and you just throw them in one of these pockets. The good thing is, because this is plastic, it doesn't stick to the plastic, but it does stick to each other. So loving that. I mean, I've used that quite a lot of times, and it's great because the outline, if you do it with a black, it looks absolutely fantastic. Gives you some real 1960s daisy vibes. You know, love, peace and all of that lot. I've used that a few times for that. There is also one continual piece, which I've obviously used. There it goes, down on the surface. I use that quite often if I'm doing a floral background. This makes a great thing to sponge through, or if you're gel printing, to actually make card backs with. So if you do that for a layer on a card, a greetings card, something like that, that's fabulous as well. Let's put this in here. Okay, ring of pansies. I don't use this one as often as I thought I was going to use this one actually. I tend, or not as a whole, I tend to use it as sections. Like I'll come in and I'll sponge a bit, because to me it looks a bit Moroccan windows. It's a bit weird to explain it, but I do tend to use sections of that just as a detail in the background. I don't tend to put it across a whole thing. So that's ring of pansies. I hope this is what you guys were expecting. I mean, as I said, I can't remember who the people were who requested it, but I hope you're watching, guys. Come on, in you go. It's also a bit of a pain in the patushki to get it back into my folder as well, because it doesn't want to go. It keeps catching on stuff. You may be left stuck out if you don't go. There you go, you're in. So, oh, quilted crop circles. Absolutely adore quilted crop circles. So, it's this one I use all the time. How much detail is in that? That is absolutely beautiful. And not just as a whole. I come in very often and I'll work with sections of it. And there's actually a strip that comes that you can order with it as well. Perfect. I love this. This is just fabulous. I need to use this more actually, because that would work perfectly on an ATC or an artist trading card. So loving that one. Quilted crop circles. Love, love, love that. Well, I love them more of the wooden bee here. Let's put it that way. Okay, triangles, deco and southwestern. This works best if you stick with a certain kind of colour theme. I mean, I as you can see, I've used pink. I've wiped this off a few times. So I tend to go for very light terracottas and oranges and chocolates and pinks and teals when I use this one. Again, I like the variety of sizes within it. I don't tend to use the whole thing. I tend to take a piece. Let's see if I can find a postcard. Let's grab a postcard out of here. Let's find a postcard that's not totally obliterated. Okay, this is just a generic, oh, that's the side I'm supposed to be working on. I can come in and line that up and just do a really thin border along the bottom. I like grabbing stuff like that and using it. even if, let's say I was doing, okay, this is quite a dramatic one. If I was to come in and come down this side and then sponge black paint into that, that would really make that jump off the page, or jump off the postcard as it was. So again, that's Triangles Deco Southwest. Cascading cogs. Am I still in shot? I think I'm in shot. Cascading cogs, great for our steampunks. As you can see, I tend to use patches of it just to put integral little bits of it, visual information into the back of something. So if I am doing something masculine, and that's not being sexist, but it is, if I'm doing something industrial or masculine or even steampunky, I will come in and I'll sponge through areas of this just to give the illusion of cogs and gears in the background. And I like the fact that it tapers down, so I can even use this smaller part on postcards and ATCs. And that's by PM Artist Studio, but it was designed by Fran, who's an artist here in the UK. We have rustic gears, which is these two. As you can see, they've been well loved as well. Again, that gives you that gear and cog thing. I've also used these in florals, because if you sponge these out and don't go to the edge, they look like really contemporary looking flowers. So loving those. Pop back in there. Okay, Sydney pinwheels. I've used this so many times. Let's get them out without breaking them. As you can see, they're really delicate, but they're really robust at the same time. I tend to use these when I'm looking for something that's got almost a touch of the exotic about it, because the amount of delicate filigree cut into these, they just work beautifully just to capture a piece of it. I tend to not use the whole thing. I tend to use half a bit or quarter of it coming on from a corner or coming on from an edge. Wonderful Sydney pinwheels. I don't know why they're called Sydney pinwheels. Obviously I know why they're called pinwheels, but not the Sydney. Seahorses, set of 8. Okay, again, when I was ordering, I was all gung-ho for making a sea-themed one, and I never got around to it. Beautiful seahorses, lots and lots of detail. I think that's the smallest of them, and this is a mask, not a stencil. And see if I find the biggest one. I'll get the biggest one out. So there you go. Oops, there's a little one stuck to its back. And there's the larger one. So what I would do is I would make my piece of art. I would put this down. I'd then sponge or colour over the top. Take this back off, and then I'd probably just go in and add the details like an eye or a mouth, or maybe come in with some sort of texture to give it almost a scaly effect. But you get quite a collection of seahorses in there. And I love them. These are another one that once they're started to get covered with paint, might actually just end up stuck directly onto my piece of art, because I just love the detail in those. Absolutely love the detail. I didn't realise I had so many PM Artist pieces. Okay, crows. Now, this was a special request. So if you're going to go in and look for crows that are just standing, you're not going to find them. The crows that they have on the website, there are some that are flying, and I put a special request in saying that, can I just have the crows that stand? Because I know I wouldn't use them flying. So it just shows the adaptability of the company. They went, yes, of course you can. So I ordered a set, but what they did is instead of putting the flying crow in with it, they put an extra 2 small standing crows. And I do use them, and actually it's 2 days away from Halloween, and I haven't finished this yet, but this is a postcard I'm working on, which well, what is it? It's Thursday today. It's Halloween on Sunday. I need to get this one finished. It's nowhere near finished yet. So hoping to get that finished, and then that will probably become my screensaver for Halloween. So that's A Murder of Ravens and Crows. Right, now we move on to ones. I think all of these are likely to be one-sided. I don't necessarily know where all of these are from. I don't even know whether I'm the one who cut them in the first place. I doubt I cut that one. I think someone else must have done that, and it's numbers. I like that. This one, oh, good grief, I did know who that was. If you look through one of my videos, you will probably see this being used, and look in the comments, because someone actually asked and I was able to find out who this was. Can you see it? Maybe if I pull it out, maybe actually let's do that with it. You'll see it probably a little bit better on there. It's a man's name, that's all I can remember that as. And I want to say the name of the stencil is Industrial, but I can't remember the name of the designer off the top of my head. I mean, I have so many of stencils. I've never been able to keep track of anything like that. Although I should really start putting labels on the back pages, shouldn't I? A dots one. I don't know whether that's one of mine. I don't think that is one of mine. That's just one I picked up a long while ago that I just really love. I like dots. I don't know what it is. Me, dots or circles and squares are great pieces to use. Oh, this one. I wish I knew where that came from. I'd love to give credit for this one. I believe this is called Nautilus Shell. And it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, it's so heavy now. There's so much paint on this. I love this one. Absolutely love this. And I like the fact that I can use even down to the smallest detail at the centre. I love it. I do use that a lot. It works great with texture paste as well. Absolutely wonderful. Now, I've got a feeling this has got a name on it. Yes, this is Sweet Poppy Stencils, image by Emma Cronin. I love this for paving stones, animal texture. Can you see it? I'm struggling to look through my own camera. It's great for turtles. It's great for crocodiles, crazy paving, dragon scale. It's just wonderful, and it's a metal one, so I had to be a bit careful when I use it on my gel plate because I don't want to injure my gel plate, but it was well worth buying that one. This one I think came as a freebie in a magazine, in a craft magazine. I can't remember. I don't think I bought this. I seriously think it came as part of a magazine as a freebie, as I said. I do actually have my own stencil out there. It's called Hopeless Harlequin, and it's actually an A4 sheet of diamonds. So if you're looking for one that's diamonds, and it's not just diamonds, they're diamonds and they break away at the bottom, that's good to look for. I don't have it myself yet, so I can't show you. I like seahorses, you may have told, so where's this one from? Is it written on here? Oh, this is Sweet Poppy Stencils as well. So can you see that one? A beautiful, fantastical seahorse. And this one, believe it or not, came out of a home decor book. It was meant to be for stenciling on a bathroom wall, but I loved it. It's fabulous. I'll use stencils made out of whatever. As long as they give me the end result, that's all I really worry about. Oh, now someone did tell me this. I think this was Lavinia Stamps, and it's one of their stencils, and I want to say it's something like Feather Ferns or Feathered Ferns. It's absolutely, I love using it to put into the background of things. Absolutely love this stencil. Again, I can tell how much I love something by the weight it comes through. Okay, this one was a product, let's move this over, by a friend of mine called Michael. How's Michael plus ADDO. I haven't seen Michael for, well, since prior to COVID, so hopefully he survived the whole COVID shutting down lots of businesses, but I think he was working for himself anyway, so hopefully Michael, you're still doing well. I've obviously used this umpteen times. Great for tropical leaves in jungle themes, stuff like that. Okay, this I believe is one of mine. I'm almost certain I created that on a Cameo silhouette a few years ago. The only trouble was that the mylar I was using was really flimsy, so I had lots of trouble with this, but I still like it and I keep it because it took so much time to actually create in the first place. Let's see, this one, let's see if there's a name on this one. Oh wait, there is a name on this one. www.thecraftersworkshop.com. Have no idea what this one's called. Let's bring in that again. But I like it because of the varied, like, membrane skin cell thing. I use it for rocks. I use it for underwater themes. I use it for space themes. I love this one. I must stop saying that. I'm saying that for all of them, aren't I? But as I said before, if I don't love them, they're not in this book. So, oh, a couple of Tim Holtz ones. I can't remember what that was called. Tim doesn't tend to put names on them, so can you see that one? You probably can. It's sort of a Gothic script. This one here, oh my word. Well, I'm at a craft show soon. If I see one of these, I'm going to have to buy another one. This one is so thick it doesn't work properly anymore because it takes a lot to get the paint and the ink down inside. I really, really love that one. A couple of others of the Tim Holtz collection I haven't quite used yet. I liked the idea of the eyesight thing because I was going to make a diorama of an optician's office and never got to do it. And I had a sewing journal to do and the journal didn't get done in the end, or I would have used this down the edges of the pages of the sewing journal. Right, a couple of more Tim Holtz ones. Doesn't help that I've actually used black paint on them, does it? There you go, those are them. Is there a number on this one? Oh, actually there is a number on this one. Right, this is THS020. That's this one. This one must have a number as well. Right, this is THS051. I used it for the 13. I did, what do we going to say? I did some Halloween postcards and I needed the 13, so that's, and the word lucky, and that's where I got those from. Another Tim Holtz one I use quite a lot, I wish it was a bit bigger, which is bricks, and this is THS038, and I think it is purely, I think it's just called, almost serious, it's got to be called bricks, or wall or something. This one in here, I know it's a Diane Reevely one, and I cannot for the life of me remember a name, and there's no name on it, but it's a Diane Reevely one. It may even be from her Dilutions, like Planner Diary range. I think it's from that one. This is a big eye, understatement there. It's from a company called Visible Image here in Wales. So that's how that one's from. And this one likewise, this butterfly, so let's put it on there. This sort of arty splattered butterfly, which I love using, as you can see by the amount of paint. This is also by Visible Image, which is the same company as there. So they do ship internationally if you're looking for them. Couldn't tell you what that butterfly one's called there. These two, I want to say, let's see if I can read what. Right, this is designerstencils.com, and this is C for Charlie 161. Again, you can see by the amount of paint on it how much I've used this one. It's getting quite heavy. And this I know is also a designer stencil, but I've got a feeling I may have cut this out of another part of the stencil by Designer Stencil, because their name is not on this one and it normally is on their stencils. So that's that one. Right, this one, use this one a lot as well. I can't see a brand on this. Oh, have I just hit you? I want to say that might say folk art and this might say plaid. It's covered with paint. I want to say that says folk art. Can't guarantee that, but again, a really nice one. It's made in Norcross, Georgia. So I think folk art is an American company, so it may be theirs. Right, when we get to some of the tile ones, I'm not going to actually pull them all out. Can't remember where this fleur-de-lis one came from. It's been used a lot. There's so much paint on here. If there was a name on this, I have no idea where it is. The other bits in here are just me cutting up bits of plastic. This little one has always been very handy as well. Let's see if there's a name on there anywhere. If you ever do a search for stencils, you're probably going to see this one pop up. It's quite popular. I love it because it's small and it gives me details for postcards and ATCs. Little bits in my planner as well. I can put this down and put maybe vintage photo over the top just to add a little detail to a page. These are just cut with some dies out of just pieces of Mylar, just because I must have been using them for a project. Same again, I've just used some of my dies through my Big Shot, and what I've done is I've cut them out of Mylar and used those shapes as apertures. Again, same thing. As you can see, if I've got spare Mylar, I'll do it, because very often if I'm working in a planner or an art piece and I want a rectangle, I'll lay that on the page. I'll come in and sponge colour or even spread texture paste over it. I don't need a shop bought stencil, I just need a stencil. So I cut my own out of Mylar. I want to say these were cut, let's move you back in. These were cut by me on my Cameo Silhouette when I was first starting out. Not overly successful, which is why they're not been used very often. Yeah, as you can see, I hadn't learnt yet how to do little bridges to make the centre stay in, but I've learnt a lot since then. Okay, these next few, I have absolutely no idea. I will basically just flip through and show you them as we go. I like this one because of, as you can see, the smaller details, just adding an element. For example, I've got this on the go. I could easily put something like that in the corner so it actually looked like a cobweb. If I took that and just placed it in the corner there, just stuff like that. I like to lift elements out of stencils. I don't always use a stencil as a whole. Again, don't know where these came from. Well, I do know where they came from. They came from the internet. This one's not easy to see, it's dark. I would say these came as a set, probably of 12 or 15, I can't remember, and they were meant for home decor. However, I just grabbed them because they were quite inexpensive. I want to say it was eBay I got these off. As you can see, they're all, what's the dimension of this? And the biggest ruler in the world. What's that? 7 3/4. Oh, 7 3/4 square, or what's that in the other language? 20 centimetre square. So there you go. So these are a few that I've used. Some I've used, some I haven't used. Like the brick wall I did, because as you heard me say with the Tim Holtz one, I wish there was a bigger one. I think I might design a stencil of a wall myself, to be honest, so I can have it exactly the size I want it. And this makes wonderful mermaid scales, this one. Oh, here we go. These are smaller. These must have come as a set as well. I tend to, when I'm surfing the net for things like stencils and masks, in the past, I would always just look for something that was a bundle. So I wouldn't have bought these individually. They would have come as a pack of maybe 10, 20, 15, something like that. And that's how I do it. I just find them and then I put them in here, and then the ones that are really useful, I keep using them. The ones that actually are not very helpful to me, I will sometimes retire them, or they'll go as maybe part of Happy Mail to someone, or I'll just put them into a Goodwill shop. I mean, I use this one all the time. It's great for Valentine's, great for anything that's got a love theme to it. It's good for weddings as well, purely because that, say I was doing a card, and I'm not a card maker, guys, but occasionally I've got friends who get married, and I would rather send them something that I have created than something that I have bought, purely so they know I haven't just walked into my local stationery store, picked up the first card and walked out with it. I've actually taken the time to put effort into these things. See, again, more of these tile designs. This must be quite a recent set, to be honest, because they're all in there unused. So that's another one I've used quite a lot. Yeah, as you can see, it's got paint on both sides. Again, a really nice stencil that I've used. Now we're getting into the realms of some of the stencils I cut many years ago myself on my Cameo Silhouette. I designed them and cut them. This one, absolutely loved it, and I don't use it enough. It's probably better seen that way around. I mean, I have a border on the top, and then this bit, still feels a bit sticky. I must use it Oh, I did use it recently, didn't I? I used it in the olive green and ice blue challenge. Okay, so this is one I use a lot. I might just recreate that one, to be honest. I did like that one. So one of my favourites, one of my personal favourites anyway. So light bulbs. Don't know where my brain was when I created that one, but it's a whole thing of light bulbs. Obviously, let's take it out of there. If I do that, they look like light bulbs, but they also look like hot air balloons to me. So who knows where my imagination was when I created that. And we're talking quite a few years ago, guys. It's not like modern stuff. Okay, there you go. I knew that I designed one. See, as I said, circles or dots or bubbles, whatever you want to call them. I had one already created. This was a daisy one I created, and I wish I knew back then what I know now, because I created the petals of the daisies too small, and I find when I'm using it for paint, it's just not enough real estate to actually show through. So this one I think I might recreate for myself, to be honest. I don't have my cameo silhouette anymore, but I think I can regenerate that one myself because I like the field of daisies. Loved this one. I use this one a lot. Drips, drops, teardrops, whatever you will call them, rainfall. It's just something that's really nice in the background. Not a dominant feature, just something that's really nice in the background. Loved that one. I want to say this was called my Rumbling Rocks. I wanted shapes. I wanted something to put interest into the background, so that was that one. This one I use so many times. I know it looks quite a simple design, just squares randomly cascading, but I use this one so often. I'm surprised it's still clean, or is it not clean on the other side? Or just clean on the other side. I must have really loved this one to keep cleaning it. But yes, I love this. This is just enough that you can capture little areas or bigger areas. I love it. Just enough to put detail on there. The idea was good, but it didn't work. I created this stencil. I wanted it to be like you were looking through a hedge of leaves, and it didn't quite cut the mustard. Again, now I know more about stencil design. This is one I'd like to recreate, but I need to put the stems in and the veins into the leaves, because as is, it just looks like a whole bunch of green blobs. This is one I did for honeycomb, and I liked it. It should be the other way up, actually. It's actually meant to be honeycomb just melting away. If I turn it around that way, it'll make more sense. Sorry, my arm, my shoulder, my ear, my glasses, whatever is popping into shot. So there you go. I think I called it melted honeycomb as well, just because it was just all trickling down. Again, lovely for a bead-themed journal. Lovely for anything that's got summer and oranges and lemons and bees and sunflowers. This is absolutely perfect for it. This was another attempt at doing this one. This was a little more successful, but again, it didn't quite make it. I wasn't happy with that. As you can see, guess what? There's more dots and bubbles. I went back to this theme time and time again. I loved it. I think we're nearly at the end, guys. Okay, these two packets. Okay, as you know, I was a cake decorator and designer. Well, I am a cake decorator and designer. And this is Designer Stencils. They're based, I believe, in America. Are they based in America? Made in the USA, yes. That was their details, but whether they're current or not, I don't know. And this was a whole letter alphabet in this style. And there was one size and a smaller size. I think this was medium and this was small. They're exactly the same letters, but when I was doing details for the sides of a bride and groom's wedding cake, I would use these to build their monogram with. Absolutely beautiful. I've never used them for anything other than that. Maybe I need to start using those for texture paste on cards and stuff. So here's the smaller version, as you can see. And I absolutely love them. Great for if you're someone who does decorated cookies. These are great for doing detail on decorated cookies. And that's it, guys. So hopefully, for those of you who requested a flip through of my stencils, I'm hoping that was what you were expecting. As I said, it's not the finite collection. What's going on with that page? It's not the finite collection. I do have some in a drawer. I've even got a couple of 12-inch stencils that I use on my gel plate that I've only got 2 or 3 of them, and they're in another box as well. However, hopefully that was what you were looking for. So thank you for your patience. As I said, hopefully this was exactly what the subscribers wanted when they asked me. So thank you very much. Have a great day, guys. I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time. Bye-bye now.